Okay, everybody, this is from Fandom. List of lawsuits lost by Scientology. Cases added to this page should be legal cases lost by Scientology organizations, not by individual Scientologists, and should follow the format. Date of judgment, parties, court, quasi-judicial body, citation hot linked to a copy of the judgment, outcome, one sentence describing the tenor of the litigation. Criminal convictions. 17 September 1996. R versus Church of Scientology of Toronto and Jacqueline Motz. Court of Appeal for Ontario, 1996. Canada, LIL, 1650. Appeals from conviction dismissed. Appeal of Scientology from sentence dismissed. The convictions were for criminal breach of trust in relation the infiltration of and removal of documents from the Ontario Provincial Police. See, that's when people win. You see that? You guys catching that one? And the Ministry of the Attorney General of Ontario. Scientology fined $250,000. Wow, a whole $250,000. Wow, way to get them. Matt's fined $5,000. Human rights litigation, 5 May 1979. X and Church of Scientology versus Sweden. European Court of Human Rights, 7805, 77, 1979. E is in Echo, C is in Charlie, H is in Hotel, R is in Romeo, 9. Application declared inadmissible. Scientology failed to overturn restrictions imposed on the wording used in e-meter advertisements in Sweden. 14 July 1980. Church of Scientology and 128 of its members versus Sweden. Swiss weren't playing around. You guys know what happens in Switzerland, right? The land of Octagon. The land of Octagon. Go look it up, please. European Court of Human Rights. 828278, 1980. E is in Echo, C is in Charlie, H is in Hotel, R is in Romeo, 8. Application declared inadmissible. Scientology failed to cause Swedish courts to allow it to sue criminally or civilly someone who agitated against it. Like what the other people call protesters, what we call child or human advocates, you know. It's always about the labels or the identity, isn't it? Scientology had tried to sue the publisher of a newspaper who quoted a professor who said in a lecture, Scientology is the most untruthful movement there is. It is the it is the cholera of spiritual life. That is how dangerous it is. Facts. Don't you guys wonder why it's still going on? Don't you guys wonder that? 9 January 1995. Church of Scientology of Paris versus France. European Court of Human Rights. 19509, 92, 1995. E is in Echo, C is in Charlie, H is in Hotel, R is in Romeo, 107. Application declared inadmissible. Scientology failed to get access to files of the French Criminal Intelligence Department. See, isn't it interesting that this is the only time that they lose? Isn't that weird? Ain't it weird, you guys? It's weird, right? April 1997. Scientology Kirche, Deutschland versus Germany. European Court of Human Rights. 346 1497, 1997. E is in Echo, C is in Charlie, H is in Hotel, R is in Romeo, dash 197. Application declared inadmissible. Scientology failed to remedy a long list of perceived discriminations against its members by German government and non-government organizations and individuals. You know, Deutschland was not playing around. They were not playing around. Defamation litigation, 16 January 1984. Church of Scientology of California, plaintiff versus Michael J. Flynn, defendant. United States District Court, D, Massachusetts. Civic Alpha number 832386-M is in Mike, A is in Apple. Dismiss Scientology's claim for libel against the attorney. Yeah, they love to go against the lawyers. I thought there were like special rules for lawyers not being allowed to be fair gamed or intimidated. I thought there were laws for that, right? I mean, there's laws for everyone, but I thought especially judges and lawyers. Didn't you guys? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit slow or something. Scientology's claim for libel against Attorney Flynn over allegation that Scientologists had stolen a court filing fee. 27 July. Notice there's nothing about the kids. Interesting, isn't it? Almost like the kids really are the currency. 27 July 1984. Church of Scientology, California, plaintiff versus Michael J. Flynn, defendant. United States Court of Appeals, 9th Circuit, Church of Scientology of California versus Flynn. Decision of California District Court, affirmed. That didn't tell us that much. 4 May 1993. Church of Scientology International, Inc. That's a corporation, correct? Isn't it, Scientology International, Inc., isn't that a corporation? So somebody let me know, corporations have to pay taxes, don't they? Scientology International, Inc. versus Mitchell Daniels. United States Court of Appeals, 4th Circuit, 992, F as in Frank, 2nd, 1329. Judgment of U.S. District Court affirmed. Summary judgment against Scientology, which failed to prove that Mitch Daniels had defamed it by stating, the Church of Scientology is no church. It's commercial enterprise. Every judge and every investigative journalist who has ever looked at it has come away with that conclusion. It is organized for only one purpose, which is to make money. 20 July 1995. Casey Hill, responder versus Church of Scientology of Toronto, and Morris Manning, appellants. Supreme Court of Canada, 1995, 2 Sierra, Charlie Romeo, 1130, appeal dismissed. Hill awarded $1.6 million in damages, comprising general damages of $300,000, aggravated damages of $500,000 against Scientology, and a further $800,000 in punitive damages against Scientology. 12 January 2001, Church of Scientology International, Inc. versus Time Warner, Inc. Imagine the audacity, you guys. Can you imagine the audacity? Time Warner wasn't playing. Magazine Company and Richard Bahar, 238, F is in Frank, Foxtrot is the military one. 238, F is in Foxtrot, 3 Delta 168, U.S. Court of Appeals, 2nd Circuit. All appeals dismissed. Because, see, Time Warner had money. They weren't playing games. Scientology lost its claim for $416 million in damages over 13 statements made in 1991 in a 1991 Time magazine article by Richard Bahar. I definitely have to go read that. I have to read that, you guys. Scientology, the thriving cult of greed and power. Facts. Tort litigation. 18, there's that number again, 18 May 1976, Allard versus Church of Scientology, Court of Appeal of California, Second Appellate District, Division 2, 58, California, Appellate maybe, 3 Delta 439, California Appellate, Second District 1976, 1976, judgment affirmed, punitive damages reduced. Scientology lost its appeal against a jury verdict holding it guilty of malicious prosecution. Allard was falsely accused of theft after he decided to leave the employ of the Sea Org. Scientology to pay $50,000. That's like nothing. That's like 5 cents for these folks. Compensatory damages and $50,000 punitive damages plus costs. I mean, granted, it was 1976, so that's back then. It was probably more like at least 100 or 200,000, maybe 300,000 in today's world. I'm just guessing. Again, no mention of the children. Isn't that weird? 18 July, there's that number again. 18 July 1989, Larry Wollersheim, plaintiff and respondent versus Church of Scientology of California, defendant and appellant. Court of Appeals, Second District, California, 1989. 212, California App, 3 Delta, 872, 260, California RPTR, 331. How that auditing, disconnection, and fair game were conducted in a coercive environment. And still the LAPD, they don't know anything about this. Right? I am going to dig up some stories of where the Scientology went after the cops. It's going to be good stuff. Conducted in a coercive environment. Thus, none of them qualified as voluntary religious practices, entitled to constitutional protection under the First Amendment religious freedom guarantees. Wollersheim was entitled to $2 million in damages plus interest. This should have been a precedent, right? Wollersheim was ultimately paid $8.9 million by Scientology. Score. I wonder if Wollersheim tried to help some of those kids get out. I mean, I know it wasn't easy, but 22 May 1996, Church of Scientology, California. Plaintiff and appellant versus Loris Wollersheim, defendant and respondent. Court of Appeals, Second District, Division 3, California 42, California App 4th 628 49, California RPTR, whatever that is, 2 Delta 620. Scientology unsuccessful in getting the 1989 judgment set aside on the ground that the trial judge, Judge Swearinger, harbored actual malice and prejudice. They love that one. Against Scientology, which affected the jury in that case. There was one case I was reading about where the judge refused to use the word Scientology. How is that a fair trial? Make it make sense. Please make it make sense, somebody, please. Commercial litigation. 13 July 1979. Church of Scientology of California versus World Federation for Mental Health, Incorporated. Supreme Court of British Columbia. 1979. Can L2 372. Action dismissed. Scientology to pay costs. Scientology failed to collect a judgment debt. Do you imagine the audacity to do this? They went after the mental illness is real, man. Church of Scientology of California versus, I'm sorry, you guys, I can't help it. World Federation for Mental Health Incorporated. I mean, like, Delusions Incorporated, man. 15 March 1983. Church of Scientology of British Columbia versus Ahmed. Supreme Court of British Columbia, 1983, 146 Delta, L as in Lamb, Romeo, 3 Delta, 219, 1983, 44 Bravo, Charlie, Lima, Romeo, 297. Scientology's claim for fraudulent misrepresentation dismissed. Well, we could just put this in our book of like the tricks that they use. Landlord's claim allowed. Scientology ordered to pay $85,944.54 plus costs. I wonder how many landlords are being stiffed right now as we speak. Don't you guys wonder how many electrical bills have not been paid? That should be interesting. The minute some of those buildings, those various buildings throughout the world, people start turning off those utilities, those buildings are going to completely deconstruct, which is also metaphysical in nature. It's dark energy versus light, in my opinion. Freedom of Information litigation. 19 December 1984. Samuels versus Hubbard and Church of Scientology of California, Inc. and Church of Scientology Mission of Davis Intervenors Appellants, Oregon Court of Appeals. 71 OR, App 481, 692, P as in Papa, 2 Delta, 700, 1984. Appeal denied and decision of Circuit Court affirmed. Church of Scientology of California, Incorporated, and Church of Scientology Mission of Davis denied leave to intervene in the proceedings. I don't really understand that one. Okay, 30 January 1987. Church of Scientology, number 6, the Queen. This should be interesting. 1987, 31, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. That's another 333. 3 Delta, 449, 1987, 1988. 30 CRR, Charlie, Romeo, Romeo, 238. 1987, 18, there's that number again. 18, OAC, 321. Appeals by Scientology dismissed. Bam. Appeal by Crown allowed. Scientology failed to have search warrants and retention orders quashed. Oh, that should be interesting, you guys. Need to be looking into that stuff. At this point, I do wonder how many of the LAPD are Scientologists. I mean, we don't know. So that would be like, there might be some extreme mind control there. I mean, I'm just, if it actually exists, which would definitely not allow unbiased policing for real. 30 August 1995, Religious Technology Center Incorporated versus Washington Post et al. United States Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, Civil Action, number 95-1107, a Scientology, I think that means Scientologist. A Scientologist failed to obtain a temporary restraining order against the Washington Post. I want to see what kind of like articles Washington Post are writing on them now. I mean, is everything infiltrated? You know, a lot of stuff was never infiltrated, right? You guys know that. Intellectual property litigation. 8 August 1986. Isn't that right around when Ronnie, Hubby with black teeth, dropped his body, or otherwise known as DIED? 8 August. There's 2 8s. I think 88 is the death number. 8 August 1986. Excuse me, you guys. And you know 86 is a death number. Religious Technology Center and Church of Scientology International, Incorporated versus Larry Wollersheim et al. And Church of the New Civilization. Oh, this is interesting. And Church of the New Civilization, Harvey Haber, Dade Riesdorf, John Ziegel, and David Mayo. I've heard David Mayo before. I don't know what I think. I think David Mayo was one of those executives. United States Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, Foxtrot 2 Delta 1076. Scientology failed to obtain injunctive relief against Wollersheim and his witnesses to prevent them using advanced technology materials in court. With claims based on civil RICO. The irony, you guys. The effing irony. The effing irony. It's just too much. with claims based on civil RICO and misappropriation of trade secrets, held that the confidential religious scriptures were not capable of being commercial trade secrets. Can't help but think of all the policies that actually have written out how to abuse children, but 70 years, nobody seems to be able to get a hold of it. Nobody seems to be able to get a hold of those auditing files that are written down by children or compiled on children. You know, the e-meters that put people in hypnotic trances, allegedly. 29 July 1992, Religious Technology Center, Church of Scientology International versus Larry Wollersheim. Later Schlosser, Richard Ofshe, Margaret Singer. Margaret Singer I know she was a social worker, and I think she created the 5 Steps of Grief, I think. Et al., Charles B. O'Reilly, United States Court of Appeals, 9th Circuit, 971 Foxtrot 2 Delta 364. Dismissed claims including conspiracy to commit RICO violations and breaches of copyright made against Wollersheim's lawyers and expert witnesses. April 1996, Religious Technology Center, Church of Scientology of California, Church of Scientology International versus Robin Scott, Church of the New Civilization, David Mayo. Oh, wait. I'm remembering now. I want to say so much. I think, wasn't David Mayo like creating a new church that was using Scientology? I do want to go there, but I kind of don't. You guys know what's up. That's what they call a squirrel in Scientology. United States Court of Appeals, 9th Circuit, 8-2, Foxtrot 3 Delta, 423, Scientology failed to obtain injunctions against David Mayo and defendants to restrain their use of Scientology advanced technology documents. $2 million in damages plus punitive damages. Scientology was ordered to pay $2.9 million in attorney's fees to the defendant's lawyers. Mayo's counterclaims for libel and unfair competition were remanded to the lower court. You guys notice still no talk about the abuse of children. It's insanity, right? I guess all these vampires agree that children are adults in small bodies. Almost like they helped create all this stuff. I'm just saying. Other cases, 19 November 1982, Church of Scientology versus Woodward, High Court of Australia, 1982, Hotel Charlie Alpha, 7-8, Scientology Statement of Claims struck out, liberty to plead. Scientology failed to stop a national intelligence organization from gathering intelligence about its activities. See, that's the only time they really go after him. Isn't that weird? Almost like it's a mind control experiment. So I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.